Hi everyone, welcome and happy Friday. This is Lindsay Mauk, founder of LTM Digital. And I'm very excited today because I am actually in a co-working space. I am not at home. I'm at the lovely Mesh space here in Redondo. They've got a coffee bar and they've actually got an area over there, if you can see, for children to. So if you want to bring your kids here while you're working, they have a slide and a bunch of stuff that you can play in. So very cool. So today's guest is Lan Tran-Sellitti. Lan is a growth marketer, and I'm very excited to have her join. So I'm going to go ahead and have her. And here we go. That should work. We're having a little bit of an issue. Hi, Lan.
Right, we did it. We did it.
For some reason, it didn't work last time, so I just rebooted, and that's
Yeah, no, perfect. It looked like it got ended, so I'm glad we were able to connect.
Oh, thank you.
Well,
Yeah, thank you. Oh my gosh, I love your background. It looks so nice and sunny where
thank you. I love your blouse too. Someone mentioned they loved your blouse. We're channeling a floral vibe today. I'm in my backyard in sunny Pasadena right now, so the weather has been amazing.
I love it. And so funny, I realized that I wore this blouse on last week's live, so just so everyone, I don't have a lot of clothes to.
It works for you. It's your signature look. You should wear it every live.
Love it. Amazing. Well, Lan, thanks so much for joining us today. I'm so excited to chat with you, and thanks for agreeing to do this.
Yeah, and likewise. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So why don't we get started, and why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself and your background and how you got started in e-commerce?
Yeah, so I have about 15, almost 20 years of experience now, not to age myself, in digital marketing and e-commerce. I majored in marketing to start off with, and my very first position was in direct mail back in the day before digital marketing started. Back then, there were things like fax marketing and direct mail, right? Which direct mail is making a comeback. But so I was in working for Lending Tree Loans at the time, and then moved to Hawaii and had a really great opportunity to work for Servco, Toyota Hawaii, Toyota, Lexus, and Scion. So I managed the digital marketing experience there. And that was my first foray into digital marketing and social media marketing. And then after that, on a trip back from Hawaii to the mainland, I interviewed with Wet Seal and got the job. Before the trip ended, I was offered the position, which is pretty exciting, back from Hawaii to start a digital marketing position at Wet Seal. And after that, I stayed at fashion brands for about at least maybe another 10 plus years, 15 years in fashion apparel brands, such as Forever 21, American Apparel, BB, Trina Turk, and Just Fab, where I met Lindsay. And then moved into some more wellness brands such as Tea Drops, and currently I'm at Sage as the AVP of Growth and Digital Marketing, but always working in social media marketing, influencer, paid, e-com, driving traffic to online e-commerce and international e-commerce as well. At American Apparel, I was the global digital marketing director and managed a team of international digital marketers, Canada, Mexico, Germany, UK. So that was a lot of fun. And that's where I'm at now.
I love it. Yeah. And so for those of you who didn't catch that, I met Lan. We were working at Just Fab back in the day. I was director of marketing over at Fabletics. Lan was director of marketing for Just Fab. And, we got to share, we just talk a lot. We talked a lot of shop all day just about different things and marketing and tactics and e-commerce. And Lan is just such a great wealth of knowledge in this area. So I'm just so excited to chat with you. So Lan, you've worked for a lot of different brands. You talked about how you've worked in fashion, you've worked with wellness brands. What role does social play for you in e-commerce? Because obviously, like, e-commerce is a lot of just straight up, like, there's a lot of like direct response and like email marketing and acquisition, but like, how does social play into your overall marketing strategy for the brands that you work with on the e-commerce side?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I've seen social evolve throughout the years. I remember I was actually one of the first digital marketing employees at Forever 21, and I helped them launch their Facebook and Instagram account. So I remember just trying to get, 10 followers, going to the founders and the owners saying, we need 15 followers to like just launch an account. And so it's evolved quite a bit, obviously, since then. So social has played a huge role not only in brand awareness, but over the years evolved into more of an acquisition tool. So I think when we first started off, social maybe 15 years ago was more important to just have a presence, just have an account, get content up. But now that's evolved so much into content that has to be meaningful, and then content now that has to convert. So finding ways to track your social engagement and your content, and how does that play into growth marketing. And where I'm at now, growth marketing social is part of the growth marketing team. So we see organic social and especially paid social as a big part of growth marketing, and driving traffic. And as brands and the board members and executives want to see more performance coming out of social. I think when I first started, we'd have a budget, and we never had to really prove the performance of it. But now, even more so, we have to prove that it's performing and it's driving new traffic and engaging consumers. So I think that's the challenge, and I've seen it evolve quite a bit. Now with the metaverse and all the different evolutions of social, social shopping is definitely at the forefront. I think when I was at American Apparel, we were the first brand to join Second Life. So back then it was this augmented reality. We had a shop in Second Life where it's digital goods. Remember, every product we had, we digitize it and put it in this virtual shop in Second Life. And in some ways, we haven't evolved that much. Facebook's launching the metaverse soon. And so that was 10 years ago, and we're still, looking to launching some kind of metaverse. But I do see the evolution of social evolving into being more of like augmented reality and metaverse and social shopping, and just having a plain graphic with the CTA action isn't enough anymore. It has to be compelling and engaging, and content that I say speaks to the five senses. Had just a content meeting this morning with my team, just speaking exactly to that. How do we elevate the content and make sure our social content is getting clicks to the site and getting people to buy? Because at the end of the day, with an e-commerce brand, everything has to drive traffic and convert.
Yeah, I mean, I love that content that speaks to the five senses, right? Because you can't smell content, right? But
Yeah.
how can you visualize yourself wearing a blouse or trying on glasses? Like this company, they have an app where you actually measure. This is called Fits Frames, and you measure your face using an app, and then they 3D print glasses that are custom fit to your face. So, having those experiences, I think social shopping is also becoming an experience too, in a lot of ways. So it's like, okay, how does this rug look on my floor, in my room and in my house, and being able to visualize in a way that really we didn't do 10 years ago. Like when we met 10 years ago, that technology didn't really exist.
Yeah, and one of the first brands I was at, a wet seal, we actually launched a My Closet. It was a social shopping app, and I think it was ahead of its time because it was more than 10 years ago. So it was very early adoption. And what it was is that in e-commerce, you lack that social shopping of when you go with friends to the mall and you ask each other, how does my outfit look? Should I buy this? And so a part of it is making sure the app was allowing consumers to shop with friends and share their look, share their experience, and have that shared connection when you're shopping. And so I think it's evolved in many ways. It's always trying to replicate that real life experience into the e-com world. So like you mentioned, Lindsay, the glasses, I bought some art the other day, but I made sure to leverage the app where you could see how it would look on top of your couch. And so trying to, bring in real life into e-commerce and social, I think is one of the key things in a successful e-commerce business.
Yeah. And you mentioned something that I just want to ask you another question on. So you mentioned like organic and paid kind of tying into each other. Like, what are some of the KPIs, that key performance indicators, for those of you who don't know what KPI stands for? Like, what are the KPIs that you're looking at from an organic social perspective, just as a growth marketer? Because, I think, for me, traditionally, I look at organic social as brand awareness. We can get people to a profile, and then we really rely on email and paid to really convert that customer. Like, how are you guys looking at organic social from an e-commerce perspective?
So I'm looking at organic social in also as a conversion tool. So not brand awareness, but measuring in Google Analytics, you could see how much traffic is coming from organic social, how much revenue is coming from organic social. So I set up KPIs for my team, like we need to increase organic traffic by XX over last year.
Yeah.
So we look at closely. What is the conversion rate on organic social? What's the AOV from organic social? What are people purchasing? Looking at the basket analysis. And then for paid, it's definitely growth metrics. So looking at things like return on ad spend. If you spend $1, did you get $2 back? But not just looking at direct return on ad spend, but the lifetime value of a customer. So we look at LTV to CAC ratio a lot, which is what is the cost to acquire a new customer for their lifetime, and how many months does it take for us to break even pretty much on the cost to acquire a new customer. So that way you'll get better metrics, and so you can say it can cost you up to $140 to acquire a new customer. So that way you'll get pretty much more marketing spend to prove out that it can cost that much to acquire a new customer, but they can stay around for 2 years, and this is their lifetime value. So we look at LTV, CAC, metrics like retention as well, but ROAS and conversion rate on specific channels. As you know, with Facebook iOS updates happening, we're definitely moving away from advertising on Facebook and exploring other areas. So we're finding things like CTV, Pinterest ads, TikTok performing a little bit better than Facebook ads.
Yeah. I was curious what channels you're looking at too, because we've also been exploring alternative options such as Pinterest and TikTok for our clients as well, just because of all the changes that Facebook is undergoing right now with iOS updates. So.
Yeah, and with CTV, you could really target at Sage Natural Wellness, where I'm at now. There's a product we worked on with the Kardashians called Poosh, and just targeting Kardashian viewers to the specific product, resulting in really great results. So you could really segment on new channels. But I think it's a good method to try to kind of move away from Facebook and explore other channels for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, Lan, you mentioned a couple marketing acronyms that those who are watching may or may not be familiar with. So just real quick, can you run through, I know you said LTV is lifetime value. Can you just share what CAC means for anyone who's listening that was like, wait, what?
I tend to just shout out a lot of acronyms, and I need a dictionary to follow me around. But CAC is cost to acquire customer. So, you can spend, $20 and then you may not get that ratio back. So how much does it cost to acquire a new customer? And then how much does it cost to get a repeat customer to come back? So your cost to acquire new customers is always going to be a lot higher. So that way you can say, I can spend up to, $100, $200 to acquire that new customer if you know that you can retain them and keep them coming back and buying more. And then ROAS is an important one. It's just return on ad spend. So how much did you spend and how much did you make back? And so you always want to at least break even, right? So with healthy margins, we'll calculate the margins into a return on ad spend as well.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Lan, this was so great. Is there anything else you want to share with anyone before we get into the live Q&A?
No, I think with growth, it's definitely always about testing, trying new channels, and sometimes the organic traffic work can convert as well. Getting like an influencer to talk about something can convert even better than paid. So I think just making sure you're testing all the different channels and trying out not just paid, but ways to convert organic.
Yeah. On the influencer side, there's a lot of different ways, right? There's organic, someone that just discovers, your like a product from Sage and post about you, or there's earned where maybe you send them product and then they decide to post about it. And then there's paid where you enter an engagement or a collaboration and are paying those influencers for that type of content. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can work with influencers on any budget too.
Yeah, and I know you have some really great master classes on these topics, but I know your agency does influencer marketing as well. But I think it's, definitely comes down to bandwidth for our team if you're able to seed a ton of influencers or not. But we found some micro influencers converting well. For example, we'll spend, 20,000 on a specific influencer that has 2 million followers, and we'll spend 10,000 on an influencer with less followers, and the engagement and return on ad spend on that influencer, on the influencer with less followers, is actually higher. So it's very interesting. I see Bella from Tea Drops has joined. Hi, Bella.
Thanks for joining.
Bella done some lives and courses together. So I think we did a Klaviyo one and a couple other courses, seminars together. So good to see Bella.
Awesome. Hi, Bella. Yeah, no, and I think I remember Bella from Social Media Club Los Angeles.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have stayed in touch over the years, and we're friends. And we were on the board of Social Media Club LA together for many years. So always great to see familiar names from SMCLA.
Yeah.
Too.
For sure. For sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Lan. And if you have a couple minutes, I'd love to just see if any of our live viewers have any questions that we could answer.
Yeah, no, sounds good.
So if question and wants to pop them in the chat window, that would be awesome. We'll just ask those questions. I love the birds in your background, by the way.
I'm saying they're a little loud, but yeah, you have squirrels, birds, lizards.
So I have a question, Lan. So while we're waiting for those questions in the comments, you mentioned that you did Klaviyo training. Is Klaviyo the email service provider that you're using primarily for your brands when it comes to e-commerce?
I think Klaviyo has the best integration for Shopify, depending on what platform you're on. But right now, Sage is on Salesforce Marketing Cloud, so it integrates better with Salesforce. But I really do like Klaviyo. Now at TJOS, we switched over to Klaviyo.
As you know, at LTM. So that's the email service provider that we're pretty much working with exclusively with our e-commerce clients these days. And Salesforce just announced a partnership with Sprout Social. Did you see that?
Yes, I did see that. It'd be interesting to see what happens with the partnership. I see Paulo.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Paolo's here. Hi, Paolo.
Arvin joined earlier. He's a friend of mine. So a lot of familiar faces on here.
Thank you guys for joining. I love it. Friday fun. Yeah. Awesome. Lan, before we go, is there any thoughts on e-commerce and growth and someone who's getting started looking at social and how they approach social from an e-commerce, like if they have an e-commerce store, like how they should be thinking about social, like anything you can share with those in the audience that are just getting started?
I think keeping in track of what those metrics are, I think the first step is defining those metrics. So organic, social, and paid can generate brand awareness, but your ultimate goal is to get people to the traffic and convert. So defining your KPIs is really important, and being open to the new trends. So hopping on, the latest TikTok trend or hopping on any new metaverse trends. Sometimes it can come across as more brand awareness, but there's a lot of opportunity to discover there and gain some brand awareness and traffic to the site. So I think having a clear goal of what your goals are for what organic social will do and what paid will do for you, I think is really important.
Realistic too, right? Like being realistic with, organic social, like if you're really just kind of getting started too, like organic, if you don't have that brand awareness, like just really working on building that audience and getting that traffic to the site, whatever site you have, whether it's a Shopify site, a WooCommerce site, Squarespace.
Yeah, and not being afraid to try things. So I launched my own e-commerce business and just decided to send product out to Miley Cyrus and Cara Delevingne and Hailey Baldwin, and they all wore the product for free and promoted it. So never think like that this celebrity or this person won't promote it, because if you have a good product, they'll speak to it.
Good product always speaks for itself. I always say a good product markets itself. So we just make our job so much easier. So Awesome. Well, Lon, where can everyone find you if they want to stay in touch with you on social?
I'm on LinkedIn. I'm definitely active there, and you can also follow me on my any of my handles. It's at the Lan Tran, my Instagram or Twitter.
Well, Lon, so much for joining. Thank you to everyone who watched live and joined us. And if you're catching us on the replay, this is Lindsay Mount, LTM Digital, our Women in Leadership series with Lan Tran-Sellitti. So
Yeah.
thanks. Have a great weekend, Lon.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks to all my friends that joined as well.
Yeah, everybody. Take care.
And all.
Bye.
Bye.